Morning. Hello, everyone.
Let's start with some introductions. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yep. Morning. So I'm Jess Myers. I'm the Chief Customer Officer at the Very Group. I've been at Very for about 2 years now. I started off as CMO, and over the last 6 months, I've taken on the opportunity to look after the full customer function. So the team looks after everything from marketing, e-commerce, data, insights, customer experience, digital products. So a lot of this, we're going to talk about how all of that coming together has really helped us unlock retail media at Very.
Exactly. So we're going to go through that whole journey, and we're going to try and get some of the insights of what it actually means to start to ideate and launch a retail media network and what was going into it. But before we do that, let's get a little bit of your background. So my first question is, what was your first experience in the retail industry?
So really early on, one of my first jobs actually was working for Faith Shoes. Obviously, I had a waitressing job first, but then Faith Shoes. So that's my first experience in retail. And I absolutely loved it. And when I'm kind of reflecting on it, I was able to work in the store on the high street. There was a concession within Topshop. And I just loved working in fashion. And what I really loved about it is I'd love it on a Saturday how you'd be working and a lady would come in and she spent all morning shopping for the perfect outfit for Saturday night. And she was looking for the perfect pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. And I just loved the opportunity to be able to help her with that. Yeah. Now, I'm also a bit of a hustler, which many people here all know. And so she wouldn't walk out with one pair of shoes. She'd often walk out with 2 pairs of shoes.
The other thing,
totally. And the other thing I really loved about working in retail then, as I absolutely do now, it's just so key to the role, is Christmas. Now, Black Friday didn't exist back then because I'm really very old. But at the time, I loved Christmas. I loved the hustle and bustle. I loved the speed of it. And, there's that buzz and energy, which is what we experience today. So that's my first role in retail.
It's a real occasion, isn't it, Christmas shopping, still to this day. What attracted you to retail in general? Was it that buzz? Was it the kind of helping consumers that really brought you into the industry in the first place?
Answering it now, yes. At the time, I was looking for a job. It seemed like quite a sexy one to have, and they gave you a free pair of work shoes. That's why I took it. But, I had quite a gap between my first role in retail and now, which I'm sure we'll kind of come on to talk about.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. So you didn't go straight into retail, did you? You had an interesting role.
No, I didn't. So I worked in financial services my entire career up until 2 years ago when I joined Very. So my background's all been in retail banking. So I've worked in large retail banks, both in the UK and Australia. I spent 10 years living in Sydney, working for the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. Wow. I spent 5 years working for the NatWest Group. I spent 3 years sitting on the exec team, working for Metro Bank, a small challenger bank.
Amazing.
Here, so my entire background's been financial services, always in marketing.
And what did you learn in that industry that you've kind of taken into retail today?
I think probably the skills that I took from there. So one of the things, to my parents' absolute horror, when I first took my first job, I turned down my graduate placement at American Express and decided to go to Australia instead, which obviously didn't land so well, but a really good decision actually now. And I think what I did is recreate that experience. So I took a variety of different roles, from advertising to CRM roles to digital roles to strategy roles, different products. I moved around quite a lot. Mm-hmm. Where I came to kind of coalesce my experience was more around the kind of commercial strategy and brand strategy. And that was brilliant because I got to understand the full business, how a bank makes money, how to kind of bring together different teams to work on, the business is the brand is the business, and how I worked on that. Yeah. And then I got to work on really cool stuff because I got to work with our corporate strategy team on things like M&A and brand valuation and how you acquire brands. And that then brought a really commercial dimension to it. So I brought a lot of that forward into the role I do now. So I guess my experience would be corporate strategy, working through, being a commercial marketer and really brand and business transformation.
Yeah, and some of those basics of marketing apply wherever you go, right?
You can apply that wherever you go. Those are the common and most modern skills that any brilliant marketer will need today.
Yeah, absolutely. And learning that at such an early stage in your career is obviously so valuable. So tell me a little bit about the transition then. So you've gone from banking into fashion and home at Very. What was that like initially?
So I grossly misunderestimated moving from financial services into retail. So let me just paint a story for you. So I joined Very 2 years ago. It was the 3rd of October. I vividly remember it. And I thought, brilliant, I'm going to transfer all these wonderful marketing skills that I have into retail. And I love shopping, so this is going to be great. And the first meeting I had was a trading meeting. And everyone said, oh, welcome, happy peak, welcome to the Golden Quarter. I'm like, what are you talking about? I appreciated that Christmas and Black Friday was going to be busy, but didn't understand. Trading had been down for one day. right? And the place was on fire. They were throwing out acronyms. I'm like, what is this and what is that? Put more money into PPC. My category's more important. Mine's more important. Send out more emails. Send out more offers. Change the guardrails. I was like, what is going on? It was the most confronting experience I've ever had. Now I'm in the centre of it right now. I totally understand. But at the time, I was like, it was like a baptism of fire. And I think the biggest reflection I had at the time was, this team are brilliant at hustling sales, absolutely brilliant, but they are working at the bottom of the funnel. They're picking off the fruit. Who's growing the tree? What is going on with the brand? And one of the main reasons why I joined Very was the opportunity to unlock the role that the brand and the value the brand has for our customers and for our partners. And it's a brilliant foundation for the retail media conversation.
That is a lovely way of thinking about it. I like that, picking the fruit rather than growing the tree. That's amazing. So tell me a little bit, so you had that first experience, everything's crazy, you're going into peak. What was in your mind about what you felt you wanted to achieve at Very? What did you have as your kind of objectives in those early days?
I was really clear on why I'd taken the role and the opportunity, but the company had been really clear on why they'd hired me. So my background, so the synergies coming into it is they were looking for somebody who had full FS regulatory experience, and I'll explain why in a minute. They wanted somebody who was experienced in business transformation and brand and leadership. Because the first question they asked me in my interview process was, tell us about the brand. And I said, which version do you want? The one you want to hear or the one that you need to hear? And they said, the second. So I already knew what the challenge was when I walked in, when I walked into it. So I did what any good marketer would do. You say, right, so, let's understand where the business is going. What does growth look like? We've got a brilliant piece, state-of-the-art piece of enterprise value segmentation. So we're really clear on who our most valuable customers are. I overlaid that with the kind of the proposition about what the customer's looking for. I overlaid that with our fantastic brand health tracking. And then therein lies your problem. Your most valuable customer, when prompted, doesn't know who you are and isn't considering you. How are you going to grow? Back to the tree analogy. So we went down a path of being really clear about, as I said, the brand is the business is the brand. So what is our brand? Who do we stand for? How can everybody have a common articulation of that? How can we laser focused on how our brand shows up? And how do we build a creative platform that helps best connect with our customers, best translates the brand, and helps us to cut through a sea of sameness, because we are operating in the most competitive market, and it's really difficult sometimes when you cover up a logo to understand the difference between one person's advertising and another. So we needed to make sure we were kind of outshining, outsmarting that, and that's where the brand and creative journey started.
I love that we've started there, because I think often retail media is seen as a side point to marketing, whereas actually the way that you guys have done it is it's integral to the brand plan. So let's think about kind of how the retail media network plays a part in that. So what did you think about when you were first defining kind of Very's point of difference and proposition on that journey to kind of then launching what is now the Very Media Group?
I might back up for a second and talk a little bit about our business, because I think some of you won't know who we are and some of you might know kind of part of who we are. So the Very Group are the proud owners of a couple of brands. You'll see it in three phases. We've got Very, it's about 80% of our business. Littlewoods, who you'll remember as a kind of wonderful heritage catalogue, and we've got Very Island as well. We have got about 4.5 million customers. We are a pure play department store, and we offer thousands of brands, plus our own brand, which I'm wearing today. And we have multiple categories. We've got electricals, toys, gifts, beauty, fashion, sports, home, outdoor. I'm going to forget a lot of categories, but we have the full range for our customers. And our customer absolutely loves shopping for everything all in one place. But in addition to retail, we also offer an integrated financial services experience. So we offer our customers flexible ways to pay. And so our customer highly values shopping all in one place and being able to use our payment options. The majority of our customers come in on a flexible payment option. Now, pivot the mind there. What have I just said to you? I've got shopper data for 4.5 million customers across thousands of brands, multiple categories, and I've got all your financial services information. The duty of care of managing that data is immense. The opportunity to unlock that, to speak to the right customer about the right product in the right channel, that's the opportunity. So when we started the journey of thinking about kind of where does growth come from our organisation, how do we accelerate that over the next sort of 3 to 5 years, we started on a journey to think about marketing plays a really important role in that. One, how do you unlock the brand? Just talked about that. Two, how do we kind of deepen relationships with existing customers, so CRM and loyalty, and three, retail media, and it has to happen in that order, right? Because if you're not clear about the brand, the rest of it won't work. So the point now where we are with reimagining our retail media proposition is the perfect timing, because we've just brought all of that together within one customer function.
Brilliant.
And we have the tools.
Yeah, amazing. So we'll come on to talk about the creative and the data in just a second. What I'd love to understand from you, because we're talking about the realities of doing this today, can you tell me a little bit about what you had to do internally to line up the right people and the right stakeholders to be able to launch Very Media Group?
So the first part is simple. It's making sure we're really clear on the things that matter most to our partner brands. So, we are a retailer, we're in service of our customers, and our customer is either the customer who shops with us or it's the brands that we partner with, and they're both incredibly important to us and to our business. So we need to understand the needs of both sides. Yeah. So what we were hearing a lot from our brands is kind of understanding the creative and the platform we have and how to best showcase their product with us. And what we were hearing from customers is, you have so much of my data, speak to me precisely about what I'm looking for. So the opportunity was to bring those things together. The real unlock for me was when I was promoted to the role I'm in now. So I now sit on the executive board at Very. I look after all the departments I just talked about, and those are all the departments that come together to work brilliantly across our business to unlock the opportunity and the value. So it's really simple. I think it's Steve Jobs who said it's complicated keeping things simple, but it really is that simple. So making sure that you've got the right people sitting together. So capabilities, motivations. Don't underestimate the power of one shared OKR. You're all moving towards the same place. So we brought the Very Media Group team together alongside your wonderful team at SMG, who we've been working with for quite some time. We brought that team together with one shared OKR. Processes, making sure it's efficient, making sure it's agile, making sure you have speed in there, but making sure you've got scalability. How do you accelerate through? And the last one is the tools, making sure the teams have the tooling in their hands to be able to make the right decisions. So quite simple. We brought those three things together within the customer function with one shared OKR.
Amazing. And I think that's so important, because getting that bit right leads to everything else and then allows you to go to market in the right way. So let's touch on the topic of how we differentiate. So obviously you talked about those two bits of creativity and data. Let's start with creativity. So talk to me a little bit about how Very is developing creative solutions for brands and what's driving that focus on creativity.
It can be as broad and bespoke as it needs to be. So we started off by saying we need to make sure we had a creative platform that works really well for Very. So when we went through the brand refresh, we also refreshed our entire creative platform. You'll see it is the Let's Make It Sparkle platform. If you've seen an animated pink flamingo, that is us, the most incredible fluent device. But it works so well on so many different reasons in terms of the intuitive, fluent device, distinctive asset. But we relaunched the brand last Christmas. And the proof is in the numbers. Kantar awarded us the second most persuasive advert of Christmas. And what do brands want? Persuasive adverts that help sell their products. So we had the creative platform in place and we continue to build from it. We also heard from the brands they want really bespoke access to the data. So the creative platform, so this Christmas and Black Friday, you will see us out as Very, and you won't be able to tell the difference between Very advertising and retail media advertising and where it starts and stops. As you mentioned earlier, it's just another marketing tool. And it depends on what the brands want to buy into. So we can have our own advertising, but the brands can buy into that and get great economies of scale, and we do an awful lot of that. But we also do really bespoke pieces of work. We've had a campaign for Levi's recently. They wanted an entire paid social campaign. They wanted very particular channels. They wanted a very particular customer. So we can create breadth, depth, or bespoke nature, depending on what the brand is looking for. Because we have the creative platform, we have the data, we have an incredible state-of-the-art in-house creative team, and we have scale across our channels, be that on-site, be that off-site.
Which I love that combination, because it's, a lot of people think of retail media and define it as kind of sponsored search or targeted digital advertising. Actually, it's much more than that. It's about the creativity of the campaign and the messaging. And then you balance that with the other opportunity, which you mentioned earlier, which is data. So can you talk to me a little bit about how Very are leveraging that data and what you're trying to do with that data to do the right thing for your customers, but also help your brands to access those customers too?
Yeah, great. I'm not going to give any secrets out, though, if that's what you're asking for.
Well,
so we've got I talked about the scale of the data that we have. We've got about 500 data points for every customer. That's huge. So having the tooling to be able to understand how to read that and how to use that is really important. And putting it in the hands of our team is really key as well. So we're obviously using our data to be able to understand audience insights, understand shopper behavior. We can use that data when it shows up on our site. We can use that data when it shows up off our site. But I think the key thing that brands are really after, other than I want to speak to that specific group of customers, is measurement. if you can't measure what you're doing, how do you know it's worked? So having the audience insights coupled with the measurement tools to be able to speak to the brands about why they should be investing their budgets with you and not with another retailer, that's really powerful.
I think that's such a good point, because actually we think of first-party data as a way of targeting, but actually I think the most value in it is understanding what consumers are doing, how you influence their behavior, and then how they go on to buy or not to buy as well. And so when you think about the future, and you think where you want kind of Very Media Group to be in the next, let's say, 5 or 10 years, how do you see it playing out, and what kind of things do you think we'll see from Very in the future?
We are on a real growth trajectory here. We are looking to double the size of our retail media business within the next 5 years, so we are on the hustle big time. But we feel like we've got the perfect platform to be able to unlock. So for us, it's really scaling what we're doing and creating greater value. And it's being flexible in terms of what the brands are after, constantly focusing on kind of creative solutions, better use of data, but the brands are really calling out for innovation as well, and we've got quite a lot happening in that space. Again, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but you're going to see some pretty interesting things coming up this Christmas.
Awesome.
And we're at the point where we've got brands are so eager to invest in the work that we're doing. We need to continue to scale it, because the last thing we want to be doing is turning away demand.
Yeah, and there's so much opportunity there, right? It's so exciting. All right, so thank you, Jess, for giving us a little tour. But before I let you go, I wanted to have a little fun, if that's all right. Do you know the game Would You Rather?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what I've done is I've created some retail media Would You Rathers, but also thrown in a few traditional Would You Rathers as well.
Oh my God, this is going to be hilarious for everybody other than me.
I did for complete transparency, I did check with Jess whether this was okay to do. And I also asked her whether she wanted to see the questions beforehand. And fair play, you said no, just surprise me on the stage. So this is genuinely new. Right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first question. Would you rather data-driven campaigns or creative-led campaigns?
Everything starts with data. The creative won't be powerful if you haven't got the data right.
Very good. Would you rather fly like an eagle or swim like a fish?
Oh, I'd love to fly. Yeah.
There's only one answer to that one, isn't there?
Fly.
Okay.
What? Not an eagle, flamingo. Fly like a flamingo. Obviously. Silly question.
Have you just given away the new Christmas ad?
No, we launched the Christmas last year. The flamingos have been flying. Don't you worry.
All right. Would you rather do upper funnel campaigns or lower funnel campaigns? Upper.
If you haven't got the top of the funnel working really hard, the lower funnel won't perform.
Okay. Great measurement or great targeting? We kind of touched on that.
Oh, God. Measurement.
Measurement. I agree.
Because you'll refine the targeting from the measurement.
Love that. Okay, my final question before we let you go. Would you rather be attacked by one giant duck or 100 small ducks?
One giant duck, because I back the fact that I can run quite fast, and I reckon I'll be out of there, lickety-split.
I'd go for one giant duck too. You can outsmart one duck. 100, you can't see where they are.
I think one duck wouldn't move that fast, so I reckon I could outrun it, yeah.
All right, maybe that can be an icebreaker during coffee later. Okay, so a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Jess, for kicking this off and starting the campaign.